But first, artists and film directors have joined refugees and Syrian artists to design a selection of postcards to mark 5 years since the start of the Syrian humanitarian crisis. The postcards will be auctioned off for charity. I'm joined now by two of those artists who've taken part in the project, the Syrian artist Dima Nachawi and British artist John Keane. Welcome both of you here to the Showcase studio. So first of all, tell me, what was the brief then from the Red Cross who's auctioning these postcards? Dima?
I was asked to participate in drawing a postcard that, in the occasion of having the incident and uprising in Syria for the 50 years, to celebrate, to send a message to the world and to send the world a message.
Right, and so why did you want to take part in this, John?
Well, for me, I've long had an interest in the Middle East, ever really since I was Gulf War artist in 1991. But we coincidentally, my family had been on a trip to Syria just a year or so before everything kicked off, and I had a lot of images, family snaps basically, that formed the basis of the images I in fact produced.
Right, and we're going to see some of those in a moment. We're going to see, I think, some of yours, Dima, first, because this wasn't the first time that you'd created this sort of art, was it?
In Syria, I was doing art and also initiating some events that is for advocacy for children refugee in Syria and also for children with cancer.
Right.
And also I have some books,
And this is your postcard here. What are we seeing?
Yes. Actually, I was inspired and by the hope and resistance of the people who's have a very great stories of initiatives and resistance to what is going on in Syria, and they wanted to give a message to the world. So I was inspired by them, and also I'm highlighting the participation of the women, who also have trying to raise their voice and tell the people about that they are not only victims, that they also leaders and change makers.
John, let's take a look at what you have donated to this cause, your images, because you were, as you say, travelling in Syria, I believe, with your family.
Yes, just a family holiday. I mean, of course, I had no idea what was going to be happening. A year later, we went to Palmyra, and of course, when I heard about events at Palmyra during that have been going on, it had an emotional kind of charge for me. Equally in Aleppo, and where we met a group of schoolgirls who treated us almost like celebrities. It was just such a warmth to the country. And it, in the wake of what's happened since, it adds that kind of extra emotional charge, having been there.
Yeah. This must be very difficult to you because, of course, Syria is where you come from, everything that's going on at the moment.
Yeah, it's very difficult because we are stuck in... the thing is, the Syrian situation is dehumanized by only showing the media that it's a conflict, and the people are not there in the media, they are victims. However, people in everywhere have their own mechanism in surviving, and I want to spread my message to show them that no, Syrians are doing great initiatives in the world, inside Syria and in the diaspora as well.
Many others agree with you because they've also taken part painting and giving their artworks to this cause. Among them, Grayson Perry and Mustafa Jakub and Tamam Azam. We can see some of those images coming up now. What do you think of some of these other works that you've seen?
I was fascinated to see some of the Syrian artists' postcards. I think they were really interesting. It's always good to get a view from people who have directly involved, and without us just commenting from afar. Yeah. It has an extra validity, and I think it's a very impressive Syrian images.
And children as well, making their artworks for the good cause. Thank you both so much for joining us on Showcase to tell us about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.